Thank you so much, Rohil Saab, for your wonderful insight. Now, I would like to introduce to our next speaker. Our next speaker is Mr. Amir Ghaziani. Mr. Amir Ghaziani is a seasoned executive with over 25 years of experience driving business growth, leading high-performing teams, and navigating complex regulatory landscapes. His expertise spans finance, corporate strategy and planning, risk management, regulatory compliance, and business turnarounds. Since joining KE in 2008, Amir Saab has held various senior roles, culminating in his appointment as Chief Financial Officer in 2018. He also serves as the chairman of the K Solar Board and is also a board member of KE Venture Company. Amir's professional credentials include fellowship from ICAP and certification as a director from PICG. He began his career as A.F. Ferguson and Company, a member firm of PwC, and has also done executive programs from renowned institutions like INSEAD. Please join hands in welcoming Mr. Amir Ghaziani.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. A very good evening to all. It's an honor and pleasure to be here to present this very important subject in front of our distinguished panelists and the guest of honor, Mohammad Ali Saab. And I really want to congratulate the Mehman Professional Forum for inviting me and having this very good session on power sector reforms challenges. So let me start with the presentation. I think the subject, both the panelists, both the speakers have presented, and the subject and the issues, reforms are very common. So I'll be speaking again and again the same thing. So I'll try to be quick so that we don't repeat the same thing. So the presentation is basically divided into the sector challenges and recommendation, and then because we are the only private utility in Pakistan, so the experience we had, what we have done good throughout the journey, and how it brought the benefits to the customers. So we'll talk about that because our belief is also that the power sector solution is privatization, and a lot of good things have been done in the privatization journey by K Electric. So we'll discuss that so that it'll be good for the audience to understand what private sector does and how it will bring good to the power sector. So this is the snapshot of power sector. As we speak earlier, the panelists already mentioned that the capacity is the issue. If you really see from 2015, the CAGR of generation capacity and its net addition in the generation capacity is 7% on year basis. So if you see, there are a lot of plants that are decommissioned during the process also, but the net addition is 7%, whereas if you see the peak demand growth on year basis, it's only 2%. So there is a clear difference which shows that the capacity was added much higher than the growth, and the issue comes out to be the capacity. And when we say the peak demand of 2% growth, let me tell you that the industrial growth is even lesser than 2%. The industrial growth for these years is only 1.3%. So the most of the growth is in the domestic sector, which is residential and commercial, where there are issues related to recovery also, and losses, technical and theft losses also comes into the residential and domestic sector. The bottom graph shows the issue which we talked about earlier, that the elephant in the room is the capacity. If you see the breakup of energy charges and capacity charges, you see 2/3 is in the capacity, and which is because of the low growth and underutilization, and there are a lot of issues related to macroeconomic factors like the rupee depreciation also had a very big impact on the capacity charges, because a lot of capacity is dollar-based, and there is a US foreign debt is behind those capacity charges, because when you put a new project, obviously you have to have foreign debt, and then these debts are of 10 years or 12 years term, so you have to pay. And when rupee depreciates, a lot of impact comes out in PKR on the capacity charges. We have been managing energy cost very well, and if you see, because of the addition of state-of-the-art efficient plants in the power sector, the energy cost went down, obviously, but obviously growth is really the challenge. The T&D losses, that's the distribution side of the issue where the circular debt arises, and if you see the T&D losses overall, it was 19% in 2015, but now in 2024 it has started again to increase because of the increase in tariff, and because of that the affordability obviously is an issue. People are not able to pay their bills, so they are stealing electricity, and obviously on top of it recovery loss is again one of the very important area where the circular debt is getting the effect. So the challenges, as I said, on the generation side, there is a high cost of generation, which is also, I mentioned that the overall energy mix is better, but still there is a 25% of the power generation which is on imported fuel. So RLNG is being consumed even now, and there are imported coal plants also. So there is a potential here, which we'll discuss in the recommendation also, that we can bring renewables, and we can also convert imported coal to the local coal, through which we can bring down the imported fuel component, and then there will be a benefit on the foreign exchange, which we can save from conversion of local coal, and maybe by bringing in low-cost renewables. So I will come to that later in the slide. On the circular debt and inefficiency of DISCOs, which is again a very important area, which reflects in the cost of the electricity also, and we all know that there is a component which is PHL surcharge. That is being billed to the customers, in fact, to the customers of Karachi also, and that is basically only because of the inefficiencies of DISCOs, where the circular debt financial charge is being charged to all the customers, obviously including KE customers also in Karachi. So that shows that because the circular debt remains there, definitely there will be some component which will come in again and again every year. So that area needs to be sorted out. The other issues related to low growth, I think the important thing is, yes, the price of electricity is a major issue, but there are a lot of other issues which needs to be sorted out, because it's not just the price of electricity because of which the growth is not there, but there are a lot of other issues. We have seen 9-cent tariff in the recent past, but the growth, the export remained at the same number which was there before also. So even though a lot of things have been done in the past, incentives, incremental packages were also given, but there was no significant increase in the export. So yes, the tariff should be, the electricity tariff should be reduced or should be lower, but then there are a lot of other areas where the government policies and incentives like tax holidays, tax incentives needs to be announced, so that the growth and industrialization starts, and then the growth comes from that side also. There are issues on the legal side and policy side also. We are discussing with the government also, and I think there's been working going on the legislation where the theft is still, we cannot lodge FIR, so it's not a bailable or non-bailable offense. So that needs to be sorted out, and government is working on that. NEPRA, This is again a challenge where a lot of things on the tariff side needs to be sorted. We have filed our tariff since 2022, and we are facing a lot of delays in approvals at the NEPRA side, which also affects a lot of investments in the infrastructure, in the businesses, and obviously there is a working capital cost which comes because of those delays. So I think a lot of things have been done at the NEPRA so that the efficiency comes and the tariff settings are being done properly and in the quickest possible time. This is, I've already discussed privatization of state-owned discos, as I said, is one of the key area. Then there is another important measure which government is trying to take, the shifting of captives to grid. This is very important for the growth, because if the low-cost gas is discontinued at the captive, then obviously captive will be moving to the grid, and then that growth will increase, and then there will be some positive impact of the utilization of the capacity cost. So although there are various discussions going on in favor of keeping it, but there are a lot of generation plants which are very low in efficiency, and they are utilizing the subsidized gas. So definitely there will be good impact on the utilization of capacity costs through shifting those into captive. Then there has been in winter packages or incremental packages which government is doing. There was discussion on the Asif Saab mentioned that there is a shift on the electric consumption as the geysers are being shifted to electric, and the gas which was basically wasted on geysers. These kind of things are happening, and I think to that reason, government has recently announced a winter package, which has basically which will benefit the consumers, because the winter package is having a very lower tariff. That's 25 rupees. If you consume more electricity or incremental electricity, then the tariff is lower. I think that will enable the shift to electric consumption, and again, it will help in having a growth. The last numbers we have in December, almost 4% is the growth because of that winter package. So I think these kind of things are very important to shift consumption to power and on grid, and that will help, and that will resolve to some extent, obviously not to the large extent, but to some extent the growth will be managed through that. There is legal framework which I mentioned is very important to curb theft and improve recoveries. So government is also working on that policy side. And then the CTBCM, which is the talk of the town. I think the competitive supply market is very important, but it has to be rightly done, so that if there is any additional cost is being charged, but it should not be that it is not viable. So it has to be done in a very proper manner, so that it gets flourish, and then the people gets also benefit, but at the same time the cost should not be onto the existing power consumers because of that shift, as capacity is an issue. So that's on the policy measure side. Regulatory reforms, as I said, NEPRA capacity building is very important, and because of that, there has been a lot of issues on the delay side, and then the working capital costs, and these things are basically incurred by the licensor. We face the same because of these reasons. So there are a lot of things which needs to be done on the regulatory side. Operational intervention is also which I believe need to take that. Probably the direct subsidy is where the government should consider or look for, because right now the cross-subsidy element, which has been also mentioned by Asif Saab, that cross-subsidy is there in the tariff, and industrial consumers' tariff is higher because of that cross-subsidy, and domestic consumers' tariff is being subsidized. So the industrial consumers are taking the hit of cross-subsidy. So in fact, I think the good thing is that we should, or government should be providing subsidy, direct subsidy through provincial government to those low-end consumers. We have a lot of areas like Liari, Orangi Town, Katipadi, where obviously the income of those areas or of those citizens are not that high, and they are not able to pay the bills. The affordability is really an issue and challenge. So instead of giving subsidy, because although their tariffs are lower, but then even then they are not able to pay that. So I think the solution to this problem is that if a direct subsidy is given to those areas through provincial government or federal government, then probably the cross-subsidy will eliminate, and there will be a better tariff for industry, and then again the growth issue can be resolved through that also. So these are the things I think we have already discussed all the things in earlier presentations also. So I'll come directly to the privatization, what we have done good through privatization. So KE was privatized in 2005, and since then $4.6 billion have been invested in the infrastructure, in the generation, transmission, and distribution across the value chain. And through this, a lot of good things have been achieved. We have basically brought down the transmission and distribution losses from almost 40% to 15%. The amount of savings which we had because of this is almost 700 billion rupees, which we have saved from that. So that's the benefit of privatization. Had this been not done, it would have been in the circular debt. So KE has zero contribution to the circular debt. The circular debt of Thank you. The circular debt of 2.5 billion is only of the ex-WAPDA discos. There is not a single rupee contribution from K Electric. Then there is a direct finance for foreign investment, which was done through foreign investors, Al Jumaah, NIG, which are Saudis and Kuwaitis. They have invested initially $361 million in the company, and then in 2009, IGCF through Abraj through IGCF also invested $361. So, and then government also. So $700 million also was invested and injected in the company. So again, privatization benefit, we all know that the FDI which comes, and then obviously it helps government of Pakistan. Then a lot of investment, $4.6 billion, as I said, is unprecedented in any power sector in a single utility or single company. So that's huge investment that has been done. The shareholders have not taken any single rupee as a dividend. They have invested all that money, whatever the profits we made in the past, all of that has been invested in the company. So for the benefit of customers, again, the benefit of privatization. These are the facts, numbers, which tells you that what good has been done. If you see the generation capacity, almost 2,000 megawatt have been added since 2005. Efficiency, which was as low as 30%. The efficiency means that the fuel you consume to generate electricity was, at that time in 2005, was 30% efficiency of the plants. Now it has been increased to 46%. Grid stations, 22 new grid stations have been added. Almost 100% of the transmission capacity has been added. The load shed, we have a segmented load shed policy where we do load shed based on the categorization of area, the low loss area, the medium loss area, the high loss area. So initially in 2005, only 6.6% of the Karachi was load shed free. The rest of it was all being load shed. but now 70% of the area is load shed free. So you see, because of the reduction in transmission and distribution losses, the improvement, which is very evident, that a higher number of feeders are load shed free. And this is very much known in the communities. If you go in areas, people will tell you that if you don't steal electricity and you pay on time, you will get uninterrupted power. So the communication and education has been great, so everyone knows that. Distribution capacity, almost 2.3 times of the capacity we have added. Transmission and distribution losses, as I said, the aggregated, not only the loss side, the theft we have detected, but we have recovered also from customers. So it's the aggregate technical and commercial loss, including the recovery side. Both have been improved since 2005 significantly. And it's unprecedented. No discos, you will see that none of the disco has improved that. And then on the technology side, on the digitalization side, a lot of new things have been done. You must be using KE Live application. We are on mobile app. We have a lot of online channel payments available for all the customers. Our meter readers are now taking meter reading on smart handheld devices. We have converted all our industrial consumers on 100% on smart meters. So a lot of digitalization and technology-driven projects have been done, which is for the benefit of customers. And then the safety is also very important. You must be seeing our field forces. They are with all their gadgets and safety equipments. So they are also following all safety protocols, and safety is our first and foremost priority. So going forward, we are also working on customers' interaction. A lot of things have been already done on digitalization. As I said, WhatsApp has been added, through which communication is being done. So right now, 1.8 million customers are now communicating with us on WhatsApp, almost 891,000 on KE Live. So a lot of digital communication have been done, and interaction have been done through digital media. Future plans, we are planning to invest $2 billion in next 7 years. That's our plan, which we have submitted to the regulator also. And again, this is very much on the distribution side, because lots of investment have been done on the aerial bundle cable, because of which the distribution loss has improved. We are targeting, obviously, Karachi is the economic hub, and at the same time, a lot of immigrants from other cities are coming into Karachi for business. So there is a natural growth, organic growth in the city, and the customers and on the residential side, it is continuously increasing. Although industry, which is a good premium customer, there is no significant growth in the industrial side, but the residential and domestic side is continue to increase, and that remains a challenge for us also, because there are a lot of slums in Karachi. Almost 900 slums are in Karachi, and the growth in those peripherals of Karachi is significant, and there has been no civic law and order or the civic facilities in those areas. These areas are unplanned. So that continues to be a challenge, but then obviously the investment is required on those areas so that we stop stealing electricity. We provide them a good service and electricity. So the investment which is required on that side is almost $2 billion, which has been submitted to the regulator, and the tariff and the approvals are in process. So hopefully will be approved soon, and then KE will be investing in next 7 years on this side. Our focus is also on renewables. As I said, KE's power cost is high normally compared to the national grid, but then there is an important factor which everyone should be taking into account. KE's power cost, excluding nuclear, if you compare it with national grid, National Grid has a nuclear power plant, nuclear cost of generation, and then hydel cost of generation. And if you take that out from in National Grid, I have a slide. Yeah. So KE's generation is more or less close to overall National Grid. If you see the overall capacity power purchase price, which is DISCOs are having, is 31 rupees. And if you take that out, if you take the National Grid, if you take the hydel and nuclear, the cost of KE is almost comparable. So because we can't put hydel directly, or we can't put nuclear, it can be done only by government. So that's where you see the cost of KE seems like higher than National Grid. But then if you take those two out, then the cost of K Electric is lower. Coming back to the renewables, so we are cognizant of that fact that the cost of generation is high, and it's mainly because of RLNG, which has been supplied by the government of Pakistan to us instead of indigenous gas. Let's hope that if captive indigenous gas is moved to K Electric, to grid, then obviously the cost of generation of K Electric will go down also, and then obviously the benefit will maybe, depending on the government's decision, can be passed onto the consumers also. But as I said, we are cognizant of the fact that the cost of generation is high, so we are working on renewables. We have recently finalized the bidding process, the competitive bidding process of 640 megawatt plants, and the bidding was very competitive and very low. In fact, the lowest hybrid project which we had was 8.9 rupees per unit. So if we take those into our fleet, and another one was 3.4 cent, almost 9 rupees, and the other one was 11 rupees. So all these three projects of 640 megawatt, if we take that in our fleet, obviously that will bring down the cost of generation of K Electric, and it will not help just K Electric to bring the cost of generation down, but it will also help government and the entire National Grid, because as I mentioned, that there are still RLNG plants which are operating, and there are imported coal plants which are operating. The cost of generation of this projects are even lower than the energy cost. So obviously on an overall basis, there will be savings based on those projects if we can commission those projects as soon as possible. So the approvals of these projects are still with NEPRA, and we are convincing NEPRA that this should be done as soon as possible, and the benefit will go to the government of Pakistan as well as to customers of Karachi and overall consumers of Pakistan. So these are the projects which we are working. In addition to that, we are also planning to have a hydel. A lot of discussion have been done with the project companies of hydel in the up north, so that we can wheel that power, and we can add those power in the future when the demand will grow. So the last slide is basically what key considerations should be for the successful privatization. I think, as I mentioned, that a lot of things have been done on the regulatory side, on the tariff setting side, which is a real issue right now. We have been given tariff in the last control period. We have discussed with NEPRA. There have been a lot of issues on that side. I hope this time the tariff which NEPRA will approve will have a better tariff, at least from the sustainability perspective, so that it will be good for the new privatization companies, or new privatized companies. Government has the plan to privatize DISCOs, so it is very important for government and for the new investors to see the tariff is viable and sustainable so that they come in and invest in the distribution company. So this is very important. There are a lot of things on the policy and regulatory framework side like CTB, CM, which I mentioned. Yes, this needs to be introduced, but it should be introduced with all the right ingredients. Then there are other areas where IGCAP, the integrated planning, the transmission side, the constraint which Roel mentioned about, that need to be catered for. These are the things I think financial viability I've already covered. So these are the things which are required and considered for the successful privatization going forward. And it is important so that the distribution, largely distribution circular debt issue can be resolved. So thank you very much for this. Thank you.